All right, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, September 29th, 2021, and we'll call this meeting of the Fergus Falls City Council Committee of the Whole to order. Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Here.
And we have a quorum. First item of business on the agenda this morning is an update from West Central Initiative, and we'll call on Samantha Van Winchell-Meyer. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning. Got some information here, and I don't know if I have enough for all of the crew, but I can get more to Lynn if people make a packet would like. We
Thank you, Sam.
won't be covering too much of the packet while we're talking this morning. But there's a lot of good information in there. Review for later too. So thanks for having me this morning. Good to see you all. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for your ongoing support of West Central Initiative. That partnership allowed us to be super responsive during the pandemic. We were able to leverage your support that you give West Central Initiative along with our other cities and counties that support us. And I pulled numbers from January 1st of 2020 just to kind of look at what our response was during the pandemic. So during that time, January 1st of 2020 through current, we provided 13 loans to the city of Fergus Falls, not city specifically, residents and groups within city limits here. That was over $1.2 million in those 13 loans. And I think that really shows a strong partnership of the city, West Central Initiative, and other economic and community development groups working in Fergus Falls. So I thought that was really exciting. Of course, those loans are not necessarily COVID related, so there's a lot happening even during this time. During that time, January 1st of 2020 through current, we provided over $1.1 million in grants to Fergus Falls. 39 of those were emergency child care grants. 10 were resiliency fund grants. Those went to nonprofits in Fergus Falls. 33 were small business relief grants. 9 were early childhood dental initiative grants. And then we have a component fund program in your packet. This nice sheet here has a long list of our funds that are working in Otter Tail County. And you'll see there's quite a few in Fergus Falls. So 89 of the grants that happened were through our component fund program. So we're really excited about the activity of those groups as well. West Central Initiative is the federally designated regional development organization, and we serve in a role of distributing state and federal funds for our region. So we're currently working on continuing our response during the pandemic. The Main Street COVID relief grants were able to help with that for groups that are looking for assistance with that. The American Recovery Plan Funds assistance were able to help work with that. We have another loan program going on, and that's in the packet, the Pandemic Revolving Loan Fund. So if there's anybody that you're aware of looking for more assistance, we can get that. You can hand that information to them. They can reach out to us, and we'll get more information for them. And then we're working on our next round of resiliency fund grants to our region as well. Going forward, 2022 through 2026, we're working on our comprehensive economic development strategy. This is a lengthy document here. I'm going to leave a few with you guys, but we're working on synthesizing this into a one-page piece too that we'll also share when we get to that point. So this is the voice of the people. Our county commissioners and our EDD worked on this, and Krista Hagberg is a part of our EDD group, so thank you for your service to that, Councilor Hagberg. And then it was a focus group of stakeholders that input into this public survey, a public comment period, and then the EDD board approved this document. So this is guiding our work for the next few years, and it really focuses a lot on what we have been doing. So workforce development, business development, housing, transportation, is all included in here. There's 9 focus areas, and again, we'll synthesize that so it's a little more reader friendly, but this document is actually got some nice pictures in it too, so we'll leave some of those behind. So I also just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation this morning to hear, I know there's so much happening in the city, but if there's anything at the top of your mind that you think, wow, WCI might be a good partner in this, sometimes, people aren't even aware of the things that we're able to help with, so. And you can always reach out at any point too if something comes up after this conversation that you think WCI might be able to help with.
Thanks, Samantha. Does anyone have any questions? One of the things that I'm always interested in is the different partnerships around childcare, obviously. City, the county, West Central Initiative, there's a lot of stakeholders in the region, and it's an issue that affects Fergus Falls, but it also affects the region. So I know West Central Initiative is taking a real lead on that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah,
And look
thank
to
you.
be partners in any way that we can.
Right. We really kind of look to ourselves as being a convening group, serving a region, and also able to bring in information from our region. And we have staff working on advocacy at the legislature, so that's a big part of the child care struggle, is kind of working for policy change in that regard. But yeah, we definitely see ourselves as that convener for bringing meetings together. We're working on kind of a model project within Stevens County on childcare right now. So if that has good success, hopefully it makes some change that we can bring to the rest of our region too.
And I know that work has been recognized statewide that West Central is working on, so really appreciate that. Any other questions from staff or from council for West Central Initiative? Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing, Samantha, and tell all your colleagues that we appreciate them as well, and appreciate the partnership that we're able to form with you. So thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me, and yeah, anytime you think of something, reach out to us, and thank you again for that support. We hope going forward in 2022 that you'll continue that support, and we'll reach out again with updates. So.
Thanks, Samantha. All right. Next, we'll have a update on 725 West Maple Street from our city administrator, Andrew Brumseth. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Your Honor, council members. Thanks, Sam, for that great presentation. As you all know, we purchased the property at 725 West Maple, I guess probably about a year ago now. I don't even remember, quite frankly. Time's flying by. Because of stormwater concerns within or near that property and on that property. And a few months ago, we decided that it was time to try to sell the property, disclosing that contingency related to stormwater. And it's been on the real estate market for the past 2 to 3 months. We have received a fair offer, and I'm bringing that before you this morning. If the council agrees that this is an acceptable offer, per our city charter, we need to introduce this at a meeting, which we could do on Monday night. And then 10 days have to elapse before we can take final action to allow the public to weigh in on the potential sale. Of course, with this being on the market for several months, the public could and should be aware that the city's selling this, and we've talked about this before, so I don't envision a lot of objection. But real quickly here, the asking price of the property at 725 West Maple is $149,900, so $149,900. The offer that we received was for $145,000, so very close to asking price. We're going to put down $2,000 in earnest money, and then there's contingencies related to inspection and financing, no contingencies for them having to sell a home. I did learn late in the day yesterday that the inspection was complete. There were a few things, I'm not going to address those this morning because I don't know them off the top of my head, but there's a few things that need to be worked through between the city and the buyer, and I think we can accomplish that by being a little bit more flexible on the price, but also remaining at a point where we can be profitable in this transaction. By that, we have about $126,000 invested into the property, and as you can see within your packet, if the purchase price remains at $145,000, we would net about $10,000 because the proceeds we would receive would be $136,000 after closing costs, fees, and then realtor commissions. So we have about $10,000 to work with to ensure that this is still a profitable venture for the city, and we'll ensure that that happens. So I will continue to finalize that number, and then we'll have that for you on Monday. I'm not going to be here Monday night, but I will make sure that I get all of that information to you as soon as I have it. And then if the council's comfortable, we can introduce that Monday and continue to move things along towards a end of October or early November closing date. So that's where we're at. I think we're very pleased with how this played out, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I think it's a win-win for everybody. The city comes out in a good position. This buyer is very excited about this home and has 2 young children that will be raised in the home. And the previous owner, who we had to work with to resolve this entire issue, is very happy where he's at now in another home here in town. So it's not often you get to celebrate wins all across the board, but I think we found that in this situation. So my recommendation is to move forward.
Thanks, Andrew. We can do that by a motion to bring this to the council.
Offer that.
Thank you, Jim.
I'll second.
Krista, any questions for Andrew? Yeah.
I'll just
Tom.
say, thank you to the city staff for facilitating this. It's like Andrew said. I mean, we don't always get a win-win, but this sounds like a lot of hard work went into it, and we found a good resolution. So, good job, guys. Anything else?
Thanks.
And other.
Thanks, team. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion to bring this to the city council on Monday night, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. A motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll call on Bill Sonmore for downtown Riverfront State bonding resolution request. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honor. In your packet is a model resolution from the state of Minnesota. As you certainly are aware, the city was awarded $1.75 million for the downtown Riverfront project through the 2020 bonding legislation. That was then amended in the 2021, just a slight wording change. And now we're doing the paperwork so we can get the money in the door as we are expending those funds. So there is a model resolution here that's part of the state's packet for that, just stating that the city is the legal sponsor for this. So the city is the one, doing this project. That we have the legal authority to receive financial assistance. We have the institutional, managerial, and financial capability to do this. And so on throughout. Talks about the matching funds, which we certainly have those in place for this. We have local fundraising that is taking place. We have local funds. Remember, we're putting liquor store funds into this project. Some general fund balance designated for this, as well as the Port Authority sold the bonds for this on the 20th. So all that provides that match that's mentioned in this resolution. So just asking for your recommendation to approve that.
Thank you, Bill. And we can move this to the council with a motion. Thank you,
I'll offer that.
Tom.
Second it.
Thanks. Brent, any questions for Bill? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Item number 4, Public Improvement 5314. We'll call on Brian Navarro for the Union Avenue resurfacing project.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning, and members of the council.
Morning, Brian.
Yes, I just want to give you an update and requested action for the Public Improvement 5314. This is the next year's 2022 State Transportation Improvement Program, referred to as STIP, resurfacing. Just go to the screen right here. We have done a lot of preliminary design on this project here. Before you on the projector, just giving you the title sheet, preliminary know for the project limits, which is Union Avenue to Lincoln, and then Lincoln, Union Avenue to Freiburg. We've made some substantial work, but this project generally consists of about 1.45 miles of mill overlay resurfacing along with head ramps. We're looking to have a state aid, this is a federal project, so it does require federal clearance and state aid review. We're looking to have this completed here by the end of the year and start bidding come early spring here. If we could go on the next slide, Lynn. I just wanted to point out to the council, this is an example plan sheet of Lincoln Avenue. And as we're aware, this is Lincoln Avenue running west-east. This particular example here I've highlighted is Mill Street. As we're all pretty much aware, there's a lot of pavers for the pedestrian access zones along this corridor. They are problematic. I just want to point out what I'm showing in this example is what we're looking to do a minimum of is these highlighted areas are a reflection of each quadrant along Lincoln Avenue. We're going to recommend that these quadrants be replaced, and perhaps we're recommending with concrete or dyed concrete to mimic the surrounding area. However, it's going to be very difficult to achieve ADA pedestrian access with these pavers. Not to mention, it's going to be very labor intensive to try to salvage the pavers and reinstall them. But this is kind of a worst case scenario what we're looking at. But if we so choose to proceed, we're going to try to be consistent and we're going to salvage the existing pavers, of course. But we're going to try to make the replacements pretty consistent throughout the corridor. But I just want to let the council know be forthcoming. That's what we're currently proposing, subject to change. But like I mentioned, we're going to salvage the pavers for future use. So as mentioned, at this time right now, is talking with Moore Engineering to complete the final design for this project. They've offered a proposal in the amount of $170,900. This is for final design and construction administration. I just want to note once again, this is a 100% federal state aid funded project. Federal share is 80%. The remaining 20% of construction and engineering, which is before you right now, is eligible for state aid and therefore not locally funded project. So at this time, Your Honor, I'm requesting to accept Moore Engineering's professional services agreement.
We could do that, recommend that to the council
I'll make that,
for a
yeah.
motion. Thank you, Anthony, thank you. Caroline? Yes, Tom?
What color are we thinking about going with?
That's yet to be determined.
We do like maroon and gold.
We could probably do, if it's going to be stamped concrete, we're limited in what they can produce, but I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Okay.
See what Jean thinks. I'd bounce it off her.
Any other questions? Thanks, Tom, for that. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. A motion carries. We'll bring that to the council on Monday night. Item number 5 is FAA Airport Rescue Grant Program recommendation, and we'll call on Brian Ybarra.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just recently, the City of Fergus Falls have been informed by MnDOT that the FAA has an application that's attached, referred to as SF424, which is a grant for a potential amount of $32,000 for airport funding. This is referred to as a new program, Airport Rescue Grant Program. The terms of this grant still yet to be clarified. It seems the city could use these funds for costs related to the operations, personnel, cleaning, sanitization, janitorial services for combating the spread of pathogens at the airports. Any airport's development directly related to combating the spread of pathogens is also eligible for an expenditure. Like the details of these expenditures will be further defined if we submit this application and we get the actual grant back. These are after the fact reimbursement program that'll be channeled to Channel Act State through MnDOT. The grant period expires September 30th, 2024. The actual application is due at the end of the month. But I just want to note this is a standalone grant, and it would not have any other impacts to grants that we receive from the state and federal government. So at this time, Your Honor, like you mentioned, the application is due at the end of the month. So the recommendation, I just want to revise that a little bit. We're not accepting the grant. We're going to just authorize myself to submit for this $32,000 from the FAA, SF424, on behalf of the city of Fergus Falls. And I'll open up to any questions.
Thanks, Brian. Anyone have any questions? Yes, Scott.
I haven't been out to the airport lately, but did we do anything? I mean, did we put up any shields or start any activities that had to do with controlling pathogens? Have we got anything in the works?
There has been minor things as far as cleaning, more routine cleaning, things of that nature. It's not a high, in the past, it's not been a high volume of customers and everything like that, but we have maintained all the state guidelines for it. What I've talked to in some of my counterparts in other airports as well, some other airports have applied for the same funds, And like I mentioned here, it's unclear exactly what these funds are for, but kind of looking at bathroom remodeling and improvements have been one of the topics I've heard. And that's kind of, I guess we try to look at something like that, as we know, as those who know at the airport and everything, it could stand some updates in the bathrooms, and I think that's where we can hone in our interest right now if we're successful with these funds.
Thanks, Brian. Someone like to offer a motion to allow
All of that?
Brian to apply for those grants? Thank you, Tom.
I'll second him.
Thank you, Anthony. Any further questions for Brian? All in favor of moving this to the council on Monday nights signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you. And if I could make one announcement, Your Honor, that's not on the agenda, but
Please
just
do.
an announcement with the downtown Riverfront project. The project is progressing. We're moving on to the phase 2 portion of this project. And beginning next week, we're going to be looking to close down the entire west parking lot. That's to start with the excavation and removal of existing pavements and the installation of the new gravel section, along with the remaining utilities on these works. So we have been working with local businesses. We are making a lot of handing out flyers, notices to businesses up on the website and everything. But I just wanted the council to be aware of it. The scheduled contract date to complete this work is 21 days. However, we're going to try to achieve to maintain access to the alleyway best as possible. So that might be in terms of, once we get the gravel section in there, to open that up, to try to maintain some ingress, egress through that alleyway. So just wanted you all to be aware.
Thanks, Brian.
There was a flyer on my vehicle yesterday when I parked in there, so.
That's good.
Communication is key, I guess, with those businesses down there. So thanks for the communication. Thanks for update. Lynn, do you have anything else? No?
Just a reminder of the work session on Monday evening at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, work session. Right here. All right. With that, we're adjourned.